Clippers, are they the secret to ultimate loudness? Hi, welcome to the Crates Motel. My name's Conan. In today's video, we're going to be looking at Acustica Audio's new Clipper plugin, Fire the Clip. Let's jump in. So here we are in Studio One. We have Acustica Audio's The Clip set up. This is a mastering session that I had set up for a client. I've turned off most of the other processing. I've left a bit of surgical EQ in there, and I've left limiters on at the end. So I'm just going to run through what the different modes are, what the plugin can do. And then we're just going to listen to how it sounds, see how far we can push it, see if we can break it. So let's just run through it very, very quickly. I think for the first time ever, Acustica Audio have given you the ability to resize. I might be wrong. So you've got several different options here. The only drawback I would say is you have to close it down and reopen it again to change the size. Not a big deal, not a big deal breaker for me anyway. I have it set to 2 and I'll leave it on that. It remembers it in the sessions. Here we have the modes, which I'll go over in a second. We have oversampling here, an insane amount of oversampling. With clippers and saturation, distortion plugins, oversampling can help the sound quality, basically. Like I said, I'm not going to go into the science too much. I can't see myself ever running 1024 high quality. I've been using it at 8 and 16. I don't have a default. I never have a default oversampling, basically because I don't necessarily think the higher the number it is, the better it is. I try out different oversampling rates. Don't have a default. Just see how it sounds. Sometimes 8 sounds great. Sometimes 32 sounds great. 64 kind of grounds my computer to a halt. I don't have a super computer. But I'm getting nice results with 4, 8, 16, sometimes 32. 16 and 8, I think, mostly. But what I'm saying is the options are there. With these different modes, they're basically different algorithms. Standard is a pretty standard, by the name, Clipper algorithm. AcU1 and AcU2 are Acustica Audio algorithms. AcU2, they say, is kind of like analog clipping. I'm very careful with that word when I'm in the box. There's a lot of marketing that says it sounds analog, it's just like analog. That's up to you to decide. I don't talk about it too much. If it sounds good, it is good. That's my theory. And I'm not really bothered about whether a plugin sounds exactly like its analog counterparts. Not really a thing for me. Eco just basically doesn't strain your CPU as much. So for people working on, older laptops, etc., or if they've got a whole load of other plugins. For me, mostly, I would say I've been using AcU2 and standard. But again, no default. Click through them, see how they sound. One thing I will say, which again, Acustica Audio are kind of notorious for, is clicking between different modes on their plugins. Because of the way their plugins are coded, there can sometimes be dropouts and glitches and clicks and stuff. And I see a lot of people complaining about them. This one doesn't seem to be too bad. You can click through it and you get minor clicks, which is really, really good. Here you have a gain reduction meter, which is nice, pretty accurate. Over here you have a peak, and if you click at the top, RMS meter. At the bottom here you have soft to hard knee and anywhere in between, which is really, really nice. Again, for me, no default, but I do tend to go more towards the hard knee, especially in mastering. In here you can change the range from 0 to 20, 0 to 5. Depends how you want to use it. I guess the 0 to 5 is probably aimed more at mastering engineers, but again, no default. I like to break the rules, so I'm going to stick with it on 20. No, we'll stick with it on 5 for now. Here we have the ceiling. Now, I had to read the manual to really work out what these meant, but basically it's to do with whether or not you're going to be running limiters after this. You have a true peak here, which is really, really cool if you want to run it last in your chain. They do suggest that if you're going to be running a limiter after it with a true peak on, have this switched off completely. Don't touch it. Out, you can have it on 0, or you can attenuate it by 5 decibels. And this auto gain, nice surprise in an Acustica Audio plugin. It works, and it works really, really well. There is one little issue with it, which I will discuss a bit later on. But it's really cool. When you have it on, you can change the settings on here. even on the 20, and it works really, really well. And I hope to see it on more of their plugins going forward. In fact, this kind of AutoGain I hope to see on all plugins going forward, because it just makes my job a lot easier, and you don't get as many people complaining online about it's not gain compensated. Won't go into that too much. So we'll go into using the AutoGain a bit later on. So let's have a listen to the track and let's have a play around with it. So I start picking up some distortion between 10 and 12. If you're going for maximum gain on a clipper, you probably already know this. A good rule of thumb really is to push it into distortion and then back it off. That way you're going to get maximum level, which is what people tend to use clippers for. So let's just turn this on so that you can see what the clipper is actually doing to the signal. So you can see at the moment, it's not completely flat, but it's basically taken a lot of the dynamics out of the signal. See, that's with the clip on and that's with it off. To me, there isn't a massive change in the sound of the signal, and that's what you're aiming for on a clipper. If you're using a clipper to get maximum loudness, you want to be able to chop the top off the track, basically, so that you can push it up further with a limiter. That's the point of it. That's the simple point of it, if you're going for maximum loudness. So you can see what it does to the signal. It pretty much just slices the top off, and it's not really affecting the transients very much. See, I'm now getting -7 LUFS. I can hear a tiny bit of distortion in there. I'm being out. This is further than I would normally push a Pro L2. So let's just run through some of the different modes we have here, just to see how it affects the sound. See, AcU1 actually sounds a little bit cleaner to me on 8 oversampling than AcU2 does. For this particular track, it's probably what I would stick with. I'm saying this right now, I believe that I finished on -9 LUFS on this track because of the nature of the track. We decided between myself and the client that we did want some dynamics there. We wanted it loud, but it didn't have to be super, 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 super loud. The issue that I have, which I mentioned earlier on with the AutoGain, is if you turn it off, everything suddenly gets really, really loud, which can be a bit of a shock if you're not ready for it. The first time I did it, of course, that's what it does. You've just turned AutoGain off, but I wasn't expecting that to happen. So I don't know whether that's something that they would address at some point, or whether you just really have to be ready for it to get really, really loud suddenly. So there you have it, Acustica Audio's The Clip. Things I love about it, things I don't like about it. I will definitely be using it. I love it in mastering. It's also really, really good in mixing. I didn't really go into that in the video, but trust me, it really, really is good. I love the sound to it. It's not a transparent plugin, but Acustica Audio don't really do transparent plugins. It has a signature sound. I know that Luca Pretolesi helped them do this plugin. It kind of has a Luca sound to it. I know his sound very well, and I love that. But if you're looking for transparency, probably not the clipper you're going to want to use. Things I don't like about it, changing the size of it. I know some people are going to complain about that. It's having to close the plugin and reopen the plugin, but it's not a deal breaker for me. Turning the auto gain off, they should probably give you a warning about that. It's a bit of a shock if you're driving the clipper quite loud. Big thing for me, which would be a great addition, would be to have a online offline rendering for the oversampling, where you can run it ×8 ×16 when you're using it, and then have it set to ×16 or ×1024 when you render. That would be a great addition. I don't know how to code plugins, so I don't know whether that's going to be something they can do, or whether it would be an update or a different plugin altogether. I'm not sure, but it would be really, really useful to have that. And I know a lot of plugins are starting to have that kind of built in now, and it's becoming the norm. So thanks for watching. Please subscribe for more mixing and mastering tutorials and reviews. This is The Crates Motel. My name's Conan. Until next time.